What are the most broken abilities in Steven Universe? Hello everyone, this is a Steven Universe discussion video on, at least in my opinion, the most broken powers or abilities within Steven Universe. Now, a bit of a rule here is that I'm not really counting weapons, so you know, like Rose's infinite shield of just pretty much like blocking everything will not be on this list, or other weapons such as like the gem destabilizer or the, oh god, what was it called? That weapon that Bismuth made, you know, the one I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm not counting weapons or anything like that, or even like Paradox ship or like Blue Diamond ship, whatever. No weapons or anything like that. Just powers and abilities and stuff like that. But anyway, let's just go on to the list. My first one for number 5 is the floating ability that Steven and Rose have. You might be thinking, what? The floating ability? Of all things? It doesn't even do any damage or anything like that. Now, as another note, when it comes to, like, abilities, I'm not talking about, like, how much damage these things can do. I'm just talking about, like, pure, like, in ways of storiness. That's not a word. In terms of story of like how broken you are. Because if you think about it, yeah, granted, Steven may not have control of this power fully. He's not at 100%. He's like at about a 40 or 50% because, you know, he can sometimes forget he has the ability, but it sometimes comes in handy. You got to think about it. This kid can jump to nearly any height he can imagine if he just thinks about it right. Not only that, he can descend as slow as he wants. No amount of gravity, like no matter what gravity there is, say on Earth, the moon, or whatever the gravity is like on Homeworld, it can't affect him if he thinks about it right. Not only that, no amount of weight can affect him either, because the gems tried it and it didn't work at all. He jumped all the way high at night and didn't fall all the way back down till it was sunrise. So yeah, this ability is pretty broken. No amount of physics can affect it. And you gotta think about it. It's pretty broken if it can defy and just like damn all physics, if like gravity and weight can't affect you at all. So yeah, Steven and Rose have the ability to pretty much jump and nothing can really affect them unless they decide it does. But, you know, Steven's not really a master at this, and not only that, Steven and Rose only have this ability. The gems, yeah, most gems can jump really high and stay in the air for long, but they can't descend like Steven and Rose do. And then you got Lapis, who can just plain out fly and all that type of stuff. Number 4 would be Future Vision. Future Vision is a pretty strong ability, and I honestly had a little hard time actually, you know, coming up of the placement of where to put this on the list, because in ways it's pretty broken. The user of this ability has the ability to see into the future. Duh. And, well, you gotta think about it. It's pretty broken. You can see into the future, seeing nearly endless possibilities and choosing the right one. Like, until you get the right one, is pretty much incredible. It's like a redo button. That's basically what it was when Steven got the power. And not only that, it's not just one person who can get the ability. Garnet has shown to transfer the ability to Steven many times, and it's helped the story greatly. Sometimes in filler episodes, but it helps greatly at all. So, seeing into the future is just like, you know, a very powerful thing. It's what makes Garnet, like, really powerful, honestly. Sapphire's Future Vision is very powerful. She pretty much knows everything. Just like playing out everything. The past, she knows it all. The future, she knows it all. She knows everything that's going to be happening in her life and pretty much around her. So if you're around her, she can tell you what time and day you're going to die. As simple as that. Garnet kind of did it to Steven and it freaked him out. But why it's kind of low on this list is the fact that, you know, with Steven, you know, unlike Garnet, he has to keep trying over and over and over and over until he gets the right one. As I said, there are endless possibilities. So it's gonna take a while to actually get the right one. You're not just gonna, you know, get the first one all the time, you know, the right future all the time. So it's a little tricky, you know, to get right. And sometimes the best decision, you know, you think of is like, man, this isn't even a good future, but it's like the best ones out of all of them. It's like the best ones out of like the worst, but it's still pretty bad, if you know what I mean. And it's also a big reason why sapphires are really, you know, like rare or looked at as these really high authority people in a way, not like commanding wise, but like these very elegant people and all that. That's why people respect them, because, well, one, they're rare within homeworld, if I'm right. Not only that, they can see everything. They know everything within the story, or within life itself. Number 3 I put on this list is bubbling. You might also be thinking, bubbling? Okay, what video did I just click on? Is this a prank or something? Is this like one of those troll videos where like number 1 is going to be Ronaldo's predictions? No, trust me on this one. I did make a theory/discussion video a while back of me saying that bubbling is a very powerful technique, or, well, it's like one of those things that people just don't really bring up. Because, think about it, when a gem is poofed, like when it comes to bubbling, the hard part is just poofing the gem. That's the hard part. But then after that, once the gem is bubbled, that's poofed, what can they do? Please tell me, what can they do? They can't do anything. Bubbling is a very, very powerful ability. Bismuth was stuck inside Rose's bubble until Steven popped him. Until there's like some sort of like outside force, no matter what, no matter how strong that gem is, as you can see from Bismuth, Jasper still isn't out yet, Peridot, and any of like the stronger corrupted gems they fought in and all that, they can't break free out of that bubble from the inside. No matter what, once you're inside that bubble, game over. And it's simple as that. They can't move, they can't do anything like that. Now, unless you're like, you know, some other object like the Wailing Stone, you know, where that situation happened, then unless it's something like that, you can't break free. Unless something or someone pops you from the outside world. And not only that, may I remind you, what was the one thing that saved Earth? You remember, right? It was bubbling. All the gems or shards, they bubbled each other, and the cluster was surrounded in one big bubble. That's what saved the Earth. And let me just make another thing. I don't know if, you know, Rose was inspired by bubbling, or if she was the inventor of it, because let me just remind you, as again, I keep saying that, but out of all the gems we met, how come Rose and Steven are the only gems that have a self-bubble? Not like, you know, the bubbling of, like, you know, other gems when they're poofed and stuff. I mean like a shield type of bubble. You know, the bubble that Steven always uses and all that stuff. How come she's the only one who uses that? Because, really, just, you know, think about it. She's either, you know, just really smart, or she actually just knows what she's doing, which kind of goes with her being really smart. Plus, that bubble saved Steven and the crew many times than, like, I can count. Well, not that many, but it's still a big amount. The biggest one being the fact that they survived the Peridot's ship crashing back into the Gem Temple, and all Steven had was the bubble. Not only that, that bubble can survive into the vacuum of space. Like, hello? That bubble is something else. Number 2 is fusion. Now, I was really close to actually putting this number 1, and not only that, I was actually really close, or, well, I was actually deciding to not put it on this list because how broken it is. Now, fusion is a really simple thing. It just takes 2 or more gems, they fuse, and their powers pretty much increase by double, if not triple, their power than what it originally was. Fusion is one of the strongest abilities in the entire series. Just like, hands down, it's one of the best. It's just like the answer. It's the trump cards for the crystal gem. Fusion is just no joke. It does everything. It gives them, like, it enhances the power, it enhances their strengths, probably even their intelligence. That's why Garnet is, like, super smart and everything. And it gives them a new weapon and even more abilities exclusively for that gem. How is this not like a broken ability? Why do you think the crystal gems use it all the time? And not only that, it's like the main thing that beats Jasper most of the time. Or at least, like, comedically, in a way. I think it's just kind of a joke now within the fandom. Like, oh, you want to beat Jasper? Just fuse. Simple as that. Lost to Garnet? Fusion. Lost to Stefani? Fusion. Lost to Smoky Quartz? Fusion. And kinda lost to herself in Jailbreak as Malachite. What was that again? A fusion. Fusion is just the answer to everything. But why it's number 2, why it was really close to being number 1 is the fact that there are a couple of things that makes Fusion just a little bit tricky and why, everyone can't just go around and do it left and right and be this unstoppable gem and all that. 1, you need another gem. Duh. So you can't really self-fuse unless they're just going to break the rule on that. 2, you need to have a pretty good relationship with the person you are fusing with. With examples such as like Malachite, Lapis pretty much hated Jasper. That's why Malachite was, all deformed and all that. And the only reason that they stayed form is because Lapis purposely made sure they stayed form so Jasper wouldn't escape. But it goes into the third option, and that is a fusion just can't be permanent. Garnet, isn't exactly perfect. She's not always, the way she is. She can sometimes break under pressure as well, because you need to have a certain amount of concentration to keep the fusion going. So, yeah, there's a couple of things that makes fusion, not entirely perfect, but it's still a very powerful ability. And number 1, I don't really think I need to surprise you guys with this, that being Lapis's hydrokinesis, her water controlling abilities. Do I really, truly need to explain why Lapis herself is pretty much broken? It's not even just that only her water abilities. Lapis herself is just a really unstoppable army. She stopped the crystal gems dead in their tracks before. She stopped Garnet. She took an entire ocean. She took that ocean, made an elevator of it nearly to space, and used most of that water, not most of it, but used a bit of the water, just a bit, to make clones of the crystal gems that were equal or stronger than them in a fight. She did all that with a cracked gem. So that just means she wasn't at full power. I mean, I'm honestly deciding here either just to put Lapis herself or just her water controlling abilities. She can control the entire Earth if she wanted to. She can make, Earth an entire desert if she wanted to. She could just make it into, something that's not habitable for humans. Because, we're really lucky that Lapis is on our side and that Steven befriend her. Because if she had, the mentality of, say, I don't know, some evil gem like Jasper or something like that, she would definitely be killing people non-stop just with her power alone. Just to control water. And Lapis doesn't need that much water. She can legit just use, a puddle from rain. That would be enough to stop, anything. She's done it before. I don't see why she can't do it again. A river, lake, a bottle of water or two, Lapis is just unstoppable. Her water abilities are crazy. It's just really fascinating, honestly. So, yeah. Oh, and yeah, I know Lapis isn't, extremely powerful when she doesn't have water, but she's on Earth. Do I really need to explain why she is powerful with it? That's why it's above it. At least with Fusion, there's a number of catches. The only catch here is that she just needs water, and that's it. That's pretty much why Malachite almost beat Alexandrite, which was another, gem added to Alexandrite's mix. It was a 3 fusion versus a 2, and the 2 fusion almost beat the other one. So, yeah. Lapis's water ability is just downright broken and a little bit stupid. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Have any questions, comments, or concerns, or any other discussion topics you want me to talk about, leave them in the comments below. I will try to answer them the best I can. Want to draw any fan art for the channel would be greatly appreciated. Here's a piece of fan art that I've gotten a while back, so, if you want to draw something similar for the channel, that would be really nice and pretty cute. So, my email will be in the description below if you want to send me some and all that. Tell me about it before you send me so I have a heads up. Have a great day, have a great night, whatever time you're watching this. Everything else you know what to do. Bye.